Apam Karaduni stage homes and Hambada ordinary bill any minister a private member and a house by the proposed or any high bill C introduced to Matamda. By the debate, Kayuma debate, Makalamada Tau de Havanico. The member who introduces the bill may make a brief statement indicating broad aims and objects of the bill. Aside statements of objects and reasons ki adugi kanodugis warol duni asai bill introduce oiba mioy dena kaigidamata bill si sugumba bill ama propose orpa mathau tarai bano kaigidamata sugumba egama leba state da thamba mathau tarai bano masi kana bana kaino masi laitabai mangja bana kaino adugi kaino si warol si mana thambana. If the bill is opposed at this stage, one of the members opposing the bill may be permitted to give his reasons. Saigi kaigumba haiba warozi thamapakanda bill do proposal iba miyoidina bill sigi matanda magi aims and objects si thamapakanda madu maram sade sigi bill ama sumaina pukhalapasi maram sade adana kana umna yelagati haiba yeliba waya thamiba miyoisina bill di matik sade sigi bill je pukhalapuri mathau tade haiba gi magi waya semu mana phongdokna bagi magonda yaba pi. After this, the question is put to the vote. If the House is in favor of introduction of the bill, then it goes to the next stage. Aduna haiba wayat ko maiba tare bill se introduce toropa aduna bill se maram zadi haibagi wayat thoropa ade tadi maram zadi is na kai no haibagi wayat puthoraba matungda masai kedoba haiba wafam sida masigi wahang siga mari leina na masai pot hadana na aduga haiba bilzibu introduce to house na kaigumba bilzi introduce to was the yaraba so bilama hodorpa the yaragadi sagi haiba bilze magi next stage da matangi onthangda mase pagi bilse sangsala na second stage da na ani suba tangkaksina kamai la yakanda there are 4 alternative courses. First alternative course tonga magi where Puyam Lambi Mari Legislature Hamba Lambi after introduction of the bill, it may be taken into consideration. However, bill say a maram sign hemasi apoi passed on our Yingsenzi Kanazi and apoi Bilzibu or Yam Lumna low by the consider the second it may be referred to as select committee of the House. Natragana by the House in Apuna Bilzi considered to Hota select committee ma House Sigiko. Rai Sabada Wagera, Lo Sabada Wagera Magi, select committee, Mana, Madubu Yingsalakanda, Bilsi, Nazagi, Masigi Bilsi, Madam Saisadi, Havisi Kayam, Sumbano Lam, Havisi, who could not tell Nava, Akanava, Yoikarana Sava, committee, Mother, Sina by the Home Subadana, Home Subada, where Payaba, Mana introduced story about Bilsi, Matanda, it may be referred to as joint committee of both the houses. Asagi, Rai Saba, Amsung Lok Saba, Animaki. Mihusing Yauraba joint committee amana Zagi higher bilsi Yingsen by that. Zagi just Lok Sabha or Rai Sabha in my select committee amana Yingsen Yuana Masagi joint committee amana haiba Masagi bilsi Puna Yingsen Minabo. Aduga Mari Subudana, it may be circulated for the purpose of soliciting public opinion. Aduga Mari Subudala is na Miam the higher bilse Zagi public Putoga and the Sumba Bilama. Post already higher bilsi passed over Pabra Patabra Masigi Kari Akaiba Legani, a Pabu Wagani have a Yamgi, more low Nabaka, again, Opanoina, Tam Maidare. Adana, the first 3 options are generally adopted in the case of routine legislation, while the last option is resorted to only when the proposed legislation is likely to arouse public controversy and agitation. And then Hambagi, where you Wayaba, Lambi, Marie Zigimanda, Lambi Ahumzidi Kedoba. Sagi Bilama introduced Roga, Madu when a passed over power, he can talk about routine legislation, not yaw by the record. Sagi, the one toba, the Sweden, wherever, on Tangsing, where Aduga, Akon Bagi, public opinion solicite on Nava, Masagi, Miamda, where he will see judicial bills, Tamaga, Miam, nobody wapams in Akaram Matam, the Sina Gahavakanda, Kayum Bahaiba, proposed bill. Or legislation as Zagi, Kaigumba, pasta Rubakanda, Natraga Tona Hona Rubakanda, where he Paxana Miam the Wagi, Yanindaba, Pendaba, Vishauna Baba, where he Iran Torakada, Kiba labor, do Privam labor, and Manzona Namadu Tokanaba, ꯂꯩꯉꯥꯛꯁꯤꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯄꯣꯖ ꯕꯤꯜꯁꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯌꯥꯝꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯄꯤꯅꯤꯌꯟ ꯂꯧꯅꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯄꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯊꯝꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯄꯟ ꯗꯤꯕꯦꯠꯀꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯂꯦꯠꯐꯣꯝꯗ. The day one of these motions is carried out, the principles of the bill and its general provisions may be discussed. If the bill is taken into consideration, amendments to the bill and close-by-close consideration of the provisions of the bill is undertaken. adana ngasai hairiba course ahum ka mari sumaina leibasidaida ngasai bill je magi provision singsi akoigi mathang mathang sum khanara paidare select committee da natraga joint committee da natraga na house na consider toropa kanjida bill sigi magi kayani warosi yamna masa khaina akoigi nainara pa maduri kanose saru amoina koi sathare aidare bill je egoina pass over yana gi lambi thirappa ko adagi kaigumba bill je koina pass tawgi maigai romda koigi sanction lawa kanda di kamai tawba amendments to the bill and close-by-close consideration of the provisions of the bill is undertaken. Asagi bill zida kari shandokpa mathau tari heba wahi wata da kari da soiba yaba wa interpretation the problem laiba yaba kai kram yam se ko yamna kumna yinsila kan bill sida shandok sadokpagi wafam puthona rakani loina na ngasagi bill sida yawiba close-by-close sagi madu yeng ha kan da mi yeng sang ha kan da bill sibu sagi yani bagi ewana pass on ba bagi khana nei na bagi akuppa khongthang je bagi thangjan ba hawa. If the bill is referred to the select committee of the house, it considers the bill and submits its report to the house. Kaigumba ngasagi 4 different process to be paramoina select committee of the house ta bill si refer to ragadi haiba select committees na bill sibu kumna naina matungda magi report to masigi aims and objects sagi statement of objects and reasons haiba sugumba kan omyam se kupna naina kanda close by close study toroga sagi report of house la lang kana select committees na. Then the clauses of the bill are open to consideration and amendments are admissible. This is the most time consuming stage. Once the clause by clause consideration is over and every clause is voted, the second reading of the bill comes to an end. Adagidi kamai tawre haiba bill zigi close by close ko ikunna nainara matungda semdok sadok kadaba mayam se punna bagi puthoga khanara matung zidagi kamai tawba masigi matang sina bill ama e oina pass tawna bagi lambi da khwaidagi matam sangba yamna kunna yengsinna time keno stage amu way second stage gi sigi pass da most time consuming way matam yam sangi aduga haiba close by close considerations in loyaba matung aduga close primak bill da yawa close kodima mayamna yare nataga masi semdok si smai semdok adi yare habagi smai na pot hada na dana kogi lepa matung da kedoro bang asagi second reading of the bill se loire hadna lawne amba reading tawar matung da second stage la second stage that si putna close by close consideration tawra pot hada na matung da gidi sagi second reading of the bill se loire na lawne aduga third stage na kedoba. The member in charge moves that the bill be passed. At the third reading, the progress of the bill is quick as normally. Only verbal or purely formal amendments are moved and discussion is very brief. Once all the amendments are disposed, the bill is finally passed in House where it was introduced. Thereafter, it is transmitted to the other House for its consideration. The Ngasagi Mari Lainaba bill to be introduced to a members na bill se pass to see haidana mara mopse thangala pakanda edoba sigi third stage da third reading ko to pakanda bill city hana gi second stage da kano to gi ba maina yamna kupna naina bagi pot ti na trap ko study bagi sinna bagi khana naina ra pa thoga ko sai gi krai da kari shambo sigi hana simba myam si ya sanara kanda pose tentakna thamani audagi semdokadaba amendment ki tawdaba pose kano masak myam si bill dagi kogi myam lawthoni si lawthoji si lawthoji si semdokna si haibagi kano sa ko audagi di haiba bill se sai house leida pass awna aduga once house amada lok sabha na move to introduce of bill na lok sabha na haiba bill se pass awni aduga rai sabha da masi thara ne si khanabi rai sabha mai la ko oragana mo sai lok sabha da la ne smai to na ko gi to pa house gi ju mari warol ta na ba ko gi thara ne ba sai pass on na when the bill comes up for consideration of the other house, it has to undergo all the stages which has undergone in the house where it was originally introduced. Adana ngasagi hanba bill jibu introduce toreba house Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha sida ngasagi stage matang bill si consider toraga ngasagi kumna select committee na kai na koi yengsalaganda koi report thagana raga the maina yare ha kan house na pass or aduga sab manana ngasagi anova house in azu adugi state me am sangsalo matunda sai samanana bill do mo pass out now. Three options available. First, it may finally pass the bill as sent by the originating house. Bill introduced to the house na tharag iba magi draft bill dugu masai ke doba yare haidana haiba ani suba house na su pass out iba ma natragana ani subada sai bill se yaro haidana reject over or masi sumaina semlo semjin tausi adu oiragadi akoi bill si pass over yabe yai habagi ke noma warol pira kanda hanagi tharaiba house da mo bill se mo kayani ko halap paidare ko ahum subada it may not take any action on the bill, and if more than 6 months passes after the date of receipt of the bill, it is considered as rejection. Kaigumba bill si topa house ina phangaba matungda bill do tharaiba house dagi saigi kayani moina bill si thataru hena action kayem lauda bida second house ina ba topa house na maji kayem khanada bida thataru se dum namjal thamam adai tari bill se second house na yadre masi reject or han logane thataru ki matam. The originating house now considers the written bill in the light of the amendments. If it accepts these amendments, it sends a message to the other house to this effect. If it does not accept these amendments, then the bill is returned to the other house with a message to that effect. In case both houses do not come to an agreement, President convenes a joint sitting of the two houses. The disputed provision is finally adopted or rejected by a simple majority of both of those who are present and voting. The originating house the bill introduced by house in the return to our bills. Like my is the same photos in a top house on a Tarapodo, Madumena considered the one. Other highly bar, Semdopa Matota had a highlight or eba Saruksi, Bilgi, Saruksi Moina, Yaraba, and my high sum yadana. Other highly bar, see what was the Zagi, top house to that, bill introduced or eba house na, or the Tarakaneva, or Parliament high system. If it does not accept, Yadragadi, amendments to Yadragadova, Amu, Sagi, Sigi Bilse, by Semdopa, Namaroi, Sigi, Sidatum Yabam, Yana, Siharagamon, Tarakana bills. Adida Kagumba house and Maxina Yanava Popangam, Bilsigi, Matanda Laiba, amendments, Kari, Wafam Sida, Yanava Popangam, Dragadi, President of India, Asna, join sitting a house and Sigi, Kaurakanda, Madugi, Waroshinama, Tiba, Masikontang in the season. Aduga karigumba hairiba yanadriba disputed provisions si karigumba finally yasanaraga house animasana adopt toraba ma tore natragana reject toraba ma tore hairiba si simple majority of both of those who are present and voting saigi joint sitting adi saigi Rajya Sabha su Lok Sabha su apunba joint sitting ama president ko visita jauriba member of the parliament ko moigi President of Mamma, Punda, Botata, Ganda, like simple majority Pamaduna, adopt of Zarana, Bedo, adopt on reject of Zarana, reject of Massingam, the mind of Bilamagi Marai was in there. A bill that is finally passed by both houses is presented with the signature of the Speaker to the President for his assent. Although the House Animana Yaraga pass over bills in Saki speakers enough. Lok Sabha speakers ki signature yauraga ngasai president of India da magi ayaba pibi waidana pigana masina ko ki bill lama ek waina pass or pagi iroi loiba stage ne third stage ne. If the president gives the assent, the bill becomes an act and is placed in the statute. If the president withholds his assent, there is an end to the bill. President na ayaba pirati bill do ek wala kaigumba pirak jagana ngasai haiba bill se kayani Dagi Chanadre had no one else. Adabu Adunatabada, the president may also return the bill for the reconsideration of the houses with a message requesting them to reconsider it. If, however, the houses pass the bill again with or without amendments and the bill is presented to the president for his assent for the second time, the president has no power to withhold his assent. Kayumba president na bill zi khara yingsin ba mathau tari aduna house anina masi amtang khana bigo haidana kayumba bill zi president gi maikai dagi return to halakpa taraga di ba sagi message su yaura kanda halakpa yai ba the main halakpa yai adubu karigumba house animaksina bill zi amu hanagi sab manaba format to da sagi bill zi amu masida kaiba kaisu yaude semdon ngai kaisu yaude haidana mabani sina yanaraga pass tawraga amu bill zi amu president amu ayaba bibiyo na amu tharaba second time when anirak su boina adu ta the president na haiba bill sidaida mana ayaba piba piroi haibagi magonda madugi magonda power silaiti ma withhold over yade ma sense lawmaking is a long cumbersome and time consuming process it becomes difficult to pass a bill within a short time lawmaking na nga kang semai ke no si amna matam sang sangba yamna ka yani bagi sanai na ba wire ke ama thopa matam sang sangba ba adu ba thong amani aduna bill lama yamna tin matam da pass over habisi khara dum wana thui proper drafting of the bill saves times the skillful soliciting of opposition support makes the task easier ba aduna bill ze when a pass over the khara matam sanghandana khara thuna to ya ita the bill ze draft over kan yam section ba mathau ta maduna yam section na bill ze draft toraga di soi da ngam da na ba toraga di matam yamna ma ma gi kan ba ngami aduga loina na kayumba lenga pai ba ruling sina sai opposition party ki support phangna ba makoina ko haising na honor ga di amu ha hena bill ze pass over da lai hal opposition ni side gi why putho ko pa myas de ba matam yan sangan de ozi akoina makata pada money bills ki mata na hape yeng si ko finance bill may be said to be any bill which relates to revenue and expenditure but finance bill is not a money bill ko abna akoina khamina gadab je money bill saiba ga finance bill saiba je ani je khra khenai ko ana finance bill haira ga di ngasai gi lenga amagi leiba lebak tu ki magi ai ai dare poi sahi ma da kar ko magi income ko revenue si siga magi expenditure sading to ni ko sigi matang da mari laina ba bill je finance bill singi adubu ngasai finance bill has the money bill wide money bill ka khene ba article 110 states that no bill is a money bill unless it is certified by the speaker of Lok Sabha article 110 akari hai madudi bill ama money bill oi di hai ki warif si kanana munna yenga kanda lepa da gya kanda Lok Sabha ki speaker sina lepa and money bill cannot be introduced in Rajya Sabha ngasai Lok Sabha amasung Rajya Sabha haina leiba kanda ordinary bill atai Rajya Sabha da introduce to ba yai adu money bill sidi Rajya Sabha na introduce to ba ya mari power Rajya Sabha ti de once a money bill is passed by Lok Sabha it is transmitted to the Rajya Sabha adu Lok Sabha na money bill is introduced to ga madu pass to matung da ding sai higher bill si mu Rajya Sabha na khana bina ba bagi Rajya Sabha da mu khusina ba ko madu kano thong sathai the Rajya Sabha cannot reject a money bill. It must, within a period of 14 days from the date of receipt of the bill, return the bill to the Lok Sabha, which may thereupon either accept or reject all or any of the recommendations. Aduna money bill ki wafam jida Rajya Sabha na saigi introduce to busu yade aduga reject to busu yade. Lok Sabha da introduce to money bill je Lok Sabha na pass to Rajya Sabha da thara ni aduga numit tara mani ki manungda bill je phangaba matung numit tara mani ki manungda Lok Sabha da Rajya Sabha na mu bill do yare na chaga yadi habagi magi apabatagi warol do pira kana mu hangi do ne Lok Sabha if Lok Sabha accepts any of the recommendations the money bill is deemed to have been passed by both houses kaigumba Lok Sabha na Rajya Sabha dagi hairaiba apabatagi thamaiba warol do masi maram sai sumi hadana moina ya zabo taraga di money bill je house ani mana pass or and low wana if the Lok Sabha does not accept any of the recommendations, the money bill is deemed to have been passed by both houses without any amendments. Aduga, kaigumba Rajya Sabha na saigi Lok Sabha Rajya Sabha na piraiba recommendation singsi Lok Sabha na yadaba taraba adi masida semtok semjin ama magano toningai warol longningai mathok tadi haidana moina Rajya Sabha gi recommendation singsi accept tawdra phawda money bill dudi Lok Sabha gi magi power se yamna strong oibanina money bill gi wafam dadi kedoba haiba Rajya Sabha na recommendation tharapadu accept tawdra phawda house ani mana koigi amendment amata tawdana haiba money bill se pass tawre na rum no way ai even money bill passed by Lok Sabha and transmitted to Rajya Sabha for its recommendations is not returned to it within 14 days, it is deemed to have been passed by both houses at the expiry of the said period in the original form. And again, interesting way, mana kaigumba Lok Sabha na pass or money bill se Rajya Sabha da tharaba. Wow, aduga magi recommendation sanaba. Adubu haribazi numitra marigi manunda tawada thabak ne Rajya Sabha na kogi. Adu kaigumba Rajya Sabha na masi tharakta tholo. Adu oiragasu ngasai money bill se house ani mana ayetpa amta leinadana kogi haiba money bill se pass tawada yare haidana dumaina dum low ani haiji Lok Sabha na money bill gi wafam gi magi am sauraba magi ko matik manga maidare mana tawunga masi khre he laidare zigamo parliamentary privilege adana kogi parliament sida kari ko privilege haibisi kogi athoi ahen ko long saba haitare sugumba kari pibagi haibisi kenosta parliamentary privileges are certain rights which assure free and efficient functioning of the members of parliament. Parliamentary privileges a parliamentary members in the thangba maikoi khatana enjoy toba dugumba khanaba kogi hak kharani haibtare maduna kai toba maikoi da free and efficient functioning ko saigi parliamentary member na parliamentary thabak thoram singje pangthopa matamda moida ayet apanba laitana yamna maw marin tana ko thabak toba ngamnabagi damakta moida piba ahenba thoi ahenba keno haidare kogi power sing haibtare ko kudong saba sing. Two types of privileges for the members of parliament, enumerated and unenumerated. The enumerated privileges are freedom of speech in each house of the parliament, immunity from proceedings in any court in respect of anything said or any vote cast. The freedom of speech a house animata house Rajya Sabha Lok Sabha member khudimata freedom of speech enumerated privilege ki sarum moina ani subada immunity from proceedings in any court in respect of anything said or any broadcast haiba parliamentary member amatana ngangkhiba wafam ga mari lainana natragana moina thadaba vote ka mari laina bada any court amada madugi while tawnaba member of parliament gi mathakta ba action law na ri keno se ayam pi de madudagi moise ngakho yaidare kal yaidare ko masigi privilege na homsubada immunity of liability in respect of publication by or under the authority of either house of parliament of any report paper votes or proceedings ko adagidi topa immunity amana saigi kedo ba moina phongdo ba adare ko saigi say report natraga paper natraga vote natraga proceedings any suguma mari laina basing jiga mari laina bai matana phongdo ba ko iruba kholuba mayam sigi kenoda tholapa kogi sayet khoyana ba mayam sing haidare madudagi moise nalo piraga kalle haidare parliamentary privilege na ba mari subada freedom from arrest in civil cases for duration of the session for a period of 40 days before and after the session parliamentary session pangthok tringai nemfuni ba mamang aduga session pangtho matung nefuni sigi marax daida saigi member of parliament amada kani gumba civil case amaga amataga mari lainana phama kon ba igano se ayaba se pi da parliamentary privilege na manga subada exemption from attending as a witness in a court ka adagi atopa mana si kai gumba case amaga mari lainana haiba member of parliament si witness wena court ko khalappa the ayam si mapi di aidare saigi madudagi moise ngakthoi aidare parliamentary privilege na sorry the Unremunerated privileges empower the Indian Parliament to punish a person, whether a member or a non-member, in the case of contempt of Parliament. Adu unremunerated privileges ki wafam dadi kedoba empower the Indian Parliament to punish a person, whether a member or non-member, in the case of a contempt of Parliament. Parliament na piba kogi sana kangon sing ko madu ngakna salaktabadagi madugi mari lenana kogi lokhatpa asagi action nai batare ko kind of disciplinary action ko duma contempt of Parliament se masigi matang da ding asagi miyoy mabu asagi punish tawbagi kaino se member wagera non member wagera madugi kaino se wagi unparliamentary weba kan hai se ko asagi contempt of Parliament unparliamentary weba duma wafam la pakan dang sai ki punish to ba yang ni pa sai ki sigi privileges pi parliamentary devices to control the executive adagi ya maroi ba mana Indian constitution ki keno provisions sing se naina da koina central state ki relation ka union ga state ka lainari ba mari madu power sharing ka revenue sharing ama magi keno myam lai re adugi maras da mo masai ki lai ba major organs ka three organs Legislature, executive, and judiciary ahum zigi marakta lainagada wako check and balances sabe tare ba si zigi ke no su amaru ba ke no mani interesting ba para mani ha tare gamma ke no Indian constitution ki provisions in naina ba ka mastai da mu executive ki power si season raga thabak tawba ko organic government ki da masai executive na ma gi thabak thoram sing je pangthor pa ma gi matin mangam phudor pa kanda ka hena masagi henzen ba thabak torok tana bagi magi parliamentary devices khare lai ha dare ko madu mata na ngai si one of the important functions of parliament is to control the executive parliament ki paide maro ba mathau sing gi marakta ama hayo haya ga di executive bu khara yani bagi sena ba dare ko bagi phazan punsin ba matina ta ba khara sena ba ko adu gumba mathau ma su yam The rules of procedure and conduct of business in Parliament provide that unless the presiding officers are otherwise direct, every sitting begins with a question hour, which is available for asking and answering questions. Yamna maruba saruga maharagadi saigi rules of procedure and conduct of business in Parliament abagi mifam pham kana session ama tore session dai dang saigi magi rules of procedure conduct of business na session man kita kari khana naina ba kari thabak thoram sing taso rasin taw ba da magi minus semaga leijai ha da ko sidai da kadoba unless the presiding officers are otherwise direct every sitting begins with a question hour which is available for asking and answering questions amaru is a parliamentary question hour se amaru saigi kai gumba presiding officers ngai jina madui tongan ba kai no ma ko warola ma thamak pa leitragadi every parliamentary sitting could be question hour na hawna high question hours the kedoba hanging bo hang kya ma hang ba do ma do pa khum ba ina ba ge ko timing mo ko ya dare asking question is an inherent parliamentary right of all the members irrespective of their party affiliations ana parliament da masai gi wahang hang ba maram sa bo wahang hang ba si sai gi member of parliament khudimaki inherent weba parliamentary right ne mana phangpham thokpa mangonda wahang hangba yawi ko maram sa wahang hangba yawi ke no se member of parliament oiba mi khudimak da dum pizaraba ko mausana pizaraba moina phangzaraba du hak mana mod madugi wafam jida ngasagi member of parliament do ma kari party no my party affiliation ke ga masau ka imta de member of parliament wa gadi maram sa wahang sing hangna ba imonda my the real object of the member in asking the question is to point out the shortcomings of the administration to ascertain the thinking of the government in formulating its policy and where the policy already exists in making suitable modifications in that policy. Adana members in the parliament is session the wang hambagi question hour the wang hambagi policy kari don't know how to point out the shortcomings of the administration. Then out to give a swan ba kai the kari sitari soya and kayani mention na ba semdo na bugi pa madugi kudong sa lomina ba tare wang pa kun tamara ka adagi to ascertain the thinking of the government in formulating its policy langang na paikat pa thosilama madu karino karam among gi thosi pakhat ka do ya gi chap chaba wafam ama ko khangdong na wi da tang sai question hours da zu wahang che hangai wahang pa kun se and where the policy already exists in making suitable modifications in that policy hana na sema ga leba policy gi wafam oiraga na laiba policy du da kai da kari semdo sadopa ko maram saba semdo sadopa mathau tari ha biji matang da wahang sing se hangaga da maina wahang pa kun tong ne. In case the answer given to a question does not satisfy the member who raised it and if she feels the need for detailed explanation in public interest, he or she may request the presiding officer for a discussion. Kaigumba wahang hangiba members na mana hangiba wahang sigi piraiba pakum da pen ragadi mana wahang hangiba members na MPs na ngasai presiding officers da ko ngasai masigi matang se yamna maruiba ko public interest ki wafam oibanina explanation in public interest review haidana ko discussion gi jamakta ko tongana ko room nijabai ayadare ko madugi tongamba matam ko kaithopina ba. The presiding officer can allow discussion usually in the last half an hour of a sitting adana parliamentary sitting ama gi ngasagi losalapagi ko pungkhai amagi matam sidaida ngasagi presiding officers na haiba ngasagi public interest ki yamna maruiba wafam gi discussion je masida lepakanya. Members can, with the prior permission of the presiding officer, call the attention of a minister to any matter of public importance and request the minister to make a statement on the subject. Adagi di members na ngasagi presiding officer dagi hanana ayaba lawre haraga ngasagi minister amada mari laina base railway gi harasu education gi harasu finance ki bu harasu ka adagi defense ki bu harasu home minister bu harasu ka tonganba any sumba minister amada mari laina ba wafam khara hangnabui damakta hanana presiding officer gi ayaba lawra kanda sai wafam khara nyam gi interest ko maroi wafam khara sumaina fondo biu haidana sai issues rest over yaiba. The minister may either make a brief statement immediately or may ask for time to make the statement at a later hour or date. Haiba concerned ministers na sugumba wafam hom pukala pakanda mana brief statement ama kudakta pibasu yai natragana mona matam khara akhanna matam khara natraga numit amada sumaina ai wafam de thamjagi haikanda damaina matam ni basu yai. The adjournment motion is intended to draw the attention of the House to a recent matter of urgent public importance having serious consequences for the country and regarding which a motion or a resolution in the proper notice will be too late. Adjournment motion is the yamna maruiba yam serious consequence like the wadumba urgent public importance ki matter ma masida miyam dugi members dugi attention to draw the wider miyam dugi miyam distinction ba adukanda adjournment motion se season ba aduna masida di hanana ko sai proper notice pira ko laga thambagi wafam je yamna thenga da oi bani na ko gi kudakta adi sugum wafam thole ya bis de dak launa masi adjournment motion ni no se pukhat pa ya ba. It is an extraordinary procedure which, if admitted, leads to setting aside the normal business of the House for discussing a definite matter of public importance. Adana sugum ya maru oi ba leba ki ko wat thodo watho ma thola pakanda sai gi sugum extraordinary procedure oina adjournment motion je ukhalaga madu akhanaba subject matter do khana naina gi process tawi ai aduga topa normal business of the House to the motion loina kayani thaido ke bai dare setting aside to adu kai maru oi haiba matter do focus to bai dare. Adoption of an adjournment motion amounts to the censure of the government. Besides these devices, Parliament exercises control over the executive through various House committees. Adagi haiba adjournment motion ama saigi adopt over the yanaraga adjournment motion ama to by masi karino hakanda government ruling kwa tawriba government du masaigi censor to adi noigi lengaksi gi makada lebaki da sugumba soba wathoma thwe aida di nekoina jikto isi karino to do isi karino hanna singui keno da kai censor to wadi moida koi akoina kumna yengsali ada moida wara wati magi wafam ma thamba wina mana wayo aduga hariba miyamsigi mathakta parliament na ngasagi executive si control tawbagi kaino se tongan tongan ba house ki committees miyam gi makhada jo koi kumna yengsan haidare habji executive se parliament na koi senaba kumna senaba gi yengsan bagi pora man lai haramina hariba mawu mataw singsi makhada maina koi yengsan ba duna under Manipur da me 3 day talk ba zumba lega ki wa thok lang thok sidai da sai parliament na koi charang na ba ko koi yama thoki masidai da koi hariba probably kind of provisions in see parliamentary proceedings da sai sumba tawriba leibra hamna simba sing se koi sum yengchen bina ba da koi yam kana ga ni hai tare ko parliamentary committees jing amu parliamentary committees say mo koi mu yeng asi ko the accountability of the executive to the parliament and the parliament's right to oversee and scrutinize the way in which the executive functions are accepted as a matter of routine aduna ngasagi executive na mana thabak thoram sing tawba kanda mai koina tawriba thabak thoram sing asi niom sumna tawriba tawdriba habagi kenoji parliament da magi wafang na daba ya da bai da moina tawningba tawwa ya da bai da accountable oi bai da adugumba wafam amu waya aduga parliament's right to oversee parliament gi oina di haiba executive functions nam si mai yengsin bagi kaida kari asum aran tawribra haima singma nam se si jenga sai gi routine matter moina ai tobam thopa dum wa magi lenga kangon gi manung sana sizna ba dumba kanomo wai pambay mo ai atare in practice it is difficult for parliament to undertake thorough scrutiny of details of the functioning of the executive on daily basis adu tasengna thaboina tawraga yengba kanda sai gi parliament na koi executive ki functions mayam si koi no gi thoiba thodo wa tho executive na tawriba mayam si koi kumna scrutiny tawra yengsen bai si araiba thaba madi koi de Parliament has solved this problem by establishing a series of committees. These committees have necessary powers to scrutinize the working of the different departments of the government. Aduna haiba mayam si solve tawna wi makta parliaments na committees kaya ma seme haiba committees sing sida saidi government gi tonga tonga department sing na tawriba thabak thoram sing si koi kumna yengsenba senaba pa arana soi mayam si koi yengsenba gi power sing moi the pa haiba parliamentary committee sing sida ka two important committees will scrutinize particularly in the area of public finances are public accounts committee and estimates committee haiba committee ani si khatana te mayam lai adubu yam maru ina finance ka mari laina bada leba amagi revenue and expenditure gi wafam sida saidi soy aran chinda thumra ko masigi mamam si yengsanna wi da makta ngasai public accounts committee ga estimates committee ga sine amaru ba tholang la ma da these two and other committees are expected to keep an eye on executive hari ba committee ani si executive ki thabak thoram sing de yamna ko section ba miyeng ma ko ani jina tham ya da they ensure an effective and comprehensive examination of all the proposed policies adagi lenga ki thosil sing ha da si to na koi pukhalap pa ko aru ma thosil mayam si ju masai ki koi yamna phajana yengsel le da committee ni sina ko often committees provide an ideal context for discussing controversial and sensitive matters in impartial manner away from the glare of publicity ko adagi atopa parliamentary committees ki yamna kana ba mana aiba parliamentary committees sina yamna sayed khoyena ba ko koi controversial ba aduga mayam mamda hekta puthoga khana ba yada ba phazangai oida natraga na mayam mamda puthopa yada ba arona to ki wafam kaya ama sagi misang me khai nai da maunga ko koi media hi public view da gi lamna koi manung da khana ba da re koi in house oina ko madu parliamentary committees ngina pangthoi they provide a useful forum for the utilization of experience and ability that may otherwise remain untapped ko haiba committees sida sagi kayani koi nyoi kaya amagi mo gi haisingba makoi kayani ko lenga ki afaba thabak singda koi maina tawbangamba contribution kaya ama ko makoi haisingma mayam madu season na bagi keno si platform mo na su phangya ko they also constitute a valuable training ground for future ministers and presiding officers adugi mathakta ngasai gi aiba parliamentary committees si tungda koi union minister warakada ba Drana presiding officers ko Lok Sabha Rai Sabha ki presiding officers wagada ba mioi kya ala su ngasai gi yamna kanaraba valuable training ko adumana piba keno mo oi hadare parliamentary committees now masagi union legislature ki koi myam khana re ko state legislature ki wafam la ji state ki thakta mu la kan da the state legislature consists of the governor and the legislative assembly ko in general state amagi ayamba lai je bagi legislative assembly hadana laire aduga governor hadana ko sagi union level na president aduga lok sabha rai sabha lai ko adang sagi state khudimakta legislative assembly khata lai banati state khara dadi house ani lai bicameral way legislative assembly habamga legislative council habamga ani lai bicameral way na ko aduga state khara dana ayamba state na unicameral way legislative assembly khata lai ko the choice of having unicameral or bicameral legislature was left to the states legislative assembly khata laigadra legislative council su laibam thopra habasi gi wafam ji state to gi lenga tuna lepsa gadaba wafam moina thami it depended on assessment of a state whether it wanted to have both houses or only one vidhan sabha khata laigadra vidhan parishad su laigadra laigadra habi keno se state ki assessment ni makha por leba ko the principal reason for not having both houses has generally been financial. Some states found it difficult to maintain quorum of 2 houses. Maroina state legislative assembly katang lay states na legislative council layan division kari maram gino na thikla pakanda ya maroi ba maram amadi sentung gi wafam sina maroi ba maram oi maram di kagina kanda house anima state ki level da thama pa ji asai gi sen ngam sangba sen sading ngam saw wafam mo ko ni pa na ayamana state legislative assembly katang lai 2019 power gi manungda koi Andhra Pradesh Bihar Karnataka Maharashtra Telangana aduga Uttar Pradesh hai ba states in the legislative councils laibagi remaina kano se phangi aduga legislative assembly is composed of members chosen by direct election on the basis of adult suffrage from territorial constituencies state legislative assembly hai ba saigi koi member of legislative assembly MLA khanbagi koi vote hata badani asagi magi constituency myam khaido kanda koi naria pakhang na pa kendra ko koi nathaba kendra aduna maina koi tongan ba kendra myam territorial constituencies myam se khaido kanda high constituencies in the MLA thagalaga the maina semani legislative assembly the size of the assembly varies from a minimum of 60 to no more than 500 aduna state ki magi population ki size gi matungina level panina state amagi minimum laigedo je Indian state amagi minimum laigedo legislative assembly ki size member of legislative assembly 60 is the minimum way aduga highest na 500 na way na mana thami aduna ngasagi apik state Manipur ba Northeast ki atai myam si ki ayamba member of legislative assembly ki strength is 60 MLAs way ko the membership of the Legislative Council shall not be less than 40, but not more than 1/3 of the total membership of the Assembly. Aduga kaigumba bicameral waiba ka saigi state wairagadi haiba Legislative Council the laigada masing je nemfu dagi tabadi yade my minimum strength je nemfu di oigada bani not adubu saigi nemfu dagi tabadi yade adubu saigi 1/3 of the total membership of the assembly ka sai aduga highest na tribal yaga kanda legislative assembly dogi state dogi legislative assembly strength dogi saru ohum thopagi ama adagi hemdi yada the house is composed of party elected and party nominated members aduga legislative council ki members se ayamana edoba khara mana pagi vote hadara khanba elected way aduga khara na sagi nominated way adi governor na matik chai haidana khallaga ko adugumba type ta bai khanbasing na members in oil legislative council ni se normally 1/6 of total members are nominated by the governor saru thopagi amaji governor na nominate tawi aduga member basing na indirectly elected tawi on the complicated formula involving graduates educators and members of the assembly assembly members sing adagi graduates sing educators sing lai chu haiba si myam si punma kaino ma semaga formula magi makhada elect tawa ada indirectly ko ana masi kitang complicated process amani Its role where they exist is considered as weaker than the legislative assemblies compared with the status of the Council of States vis-a-vis the House of the People. Adaga ngasai hai ba legislative council ki kaino se leiba taraga su maikoi je state to legislative assembly da gi di mapangan son ba poe compare with the status of the Council of States vis-a-vis the House of the People. Ngasai union ki level da House of the People Lok Sabha jiga ngasai Council of State Rajya Sabha haidana leiba ko sigi kaino se ani ji general pakanda ko ngasai legislative assembly da gi yamna sona leiba poe legislative council se. Legislative Council may be considered as unnecessary due to some reasons. Legislative Council say, I am best yes in the late Sika, I can masi Matota, and a Kanbagi Maram Kiam, lay high Maram Maram the Hanbada. The very nature of the composition of the Legislative Council makes its position weak, being party elected and party nominated and representing various interests. Adana high work council members in C, positions are weak way, Kayinoganda. Maikozi karana elected over karana khanba ko bothada ba natabada khanba adugumba oiba aduga tonga interest ke ama ko serve toba mahusinba oibani na ngasai ki composition je koi difficult kayani yam complex oiba dare aduna ngasai moi position je weak well ani subada is survival depends on the will of the assembly as the latter has the power to abolish the second chamber by passing a resolution. Adagi legislative council ji am swal izigi maram amana mu kaina kanda state to gi legislative assembly gi aning ba pa mai makha po na hingya legislative council maram de kaina kanda legislative assembly gi wari ba mana kai gumba hai ba legislative council ji muthalaji haidana resolution ji lawagadi hai ba legislative council ji muthapanga Home Subada, the Council of Ministers is responsible only to the assembly and not to the council. Aduga state amagi laiba Council of Ministers in si legislative assembly to the responsible way because the legislative council the responsible way di maramana legislative council ki power se laita lugumi as regard any ordinary bill originating in the assembly the council's position is very weak for it can only delay its passes for a limited period aduga adugi mathakta ngasai ki legislative council jina ordinary bill lama ngasai ki legislative assembly da gi proposal for ordinary bill lama ngasai ki council jina kariani pass to wajida matam khara khaktang thindan banatana thuyopa kayana masi thingba do da mona madu power do yaw de haidar the legislative process in the state assembly is similar to that in the parliament with one significant exception legislative process the state assembly the tori jiga parliament the tori jiga ayamba loi manai ko manadaba yamaruiba amakanatana ko the governor can reserve any bill passed by the state legislature for the consideration of the president haiba state ki legislature na pass toropa any bill lama governor na reserve to way ay masi president gi ayaba amtang lobo mathau tagani hairaga any state legislature na pass over bill lama saigi reserve to ngam governor na particularly it is obligatory on the governor to reserve the bill that's when the bill is derogatory to the powers of the high court the high work kayuma bill si saigi maruina saigi high court ki power sing ji mayokta haidare pa madu the sinabo iba bill oina tholagadi governor na haiba bill je reserve to haiba se masi tobam thoba tawdawa yadaba normal way if the president directs the governor to return the bill for reconsideration, the legislature must reconsider the bill within 6 months, and if it is passed again, the bill is presented to the president again. Kaigumba president in our governor the bill do amu hanna khanna na ba gidamakta kaigumba president in our governor the wafam thamagadi legislature state legislature na kaidoba bill do tha taruki manungda mu khanna na ga yengjanggada maneba aduga haiba bill je amu pass tawragadi president amuana thaba mathau taiba but it shall not be obligatory on the president to give his assent amuhanna second time when a bill je pass tawraga state legislation na ngasai gi president gi ayaba lawna ba amuhanna thari and hairaga su president na the assent pigani haiba gi keno je mathau tare it is clear that once the governor reserves a bill for the president the subsequent enactment remains with the president and the governor has no further role in it. The governor bill reserved over president yingsin mathau tagani and khali haidana ko adu itadi ngasai ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯕꯤꯜꯗꯨ ꯄꯥꯁ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯇꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯐꯝꯁꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯦꯁꯤꯗꯦꯟꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯄꯥꯋꯔꯒꯤ ꯃꯈꯥ ꯄꯣꯟꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯃꯁꯤꯗ ꯒꯕꯔꯅꯔꯒꯤ ꯊꯣꯏꯗꯣꯛꯄ ꯃꯊꯧ ꯆꯪꯗ꯭ꯔꯦ. Since the Constitution does not put any time limit on the President either to declare his assent or withdrawal, the President can keep the bill in cold storage for an indefinite period without revealing his intents. And the Constitution की provision की मखादा President bill amabu साइकी अयाबा पीबा नत्रगना मदुबु यानीबगी नमजलगा थंबगी वफमजिदैदा मागी अखन्नबा टाइम फ्रेम अमा था सुक थंबा याय नमित अदुक थंबा यायबगी अखन्नबा मतम थंदबनिना प्रेसिडेंट ना बिल अमाबु कोल्ड स्टोरेज दा मतम को अखन्नबा मतम लैतना बगी नमसलगा दुम थंबगी याय दारे करी मरमगिनो करिम हाइदबनिदा को सीरीज सिमिलर सिचुएशन मक्सिंग असागी बगी former honorable CM Okran Ibobina Parliament and the Manipuri People's Protection Bill and the minor bill passed over the governor president I have alone about the mind organ or stories that might come with reports and Manipuri Matan Taylor Matarama talking Masi to be Kanomatani president level power to Mami. Duna Mazagi Lushalapada state Government of India gi ngasai magi laiba maroiba institution ahum ko executive legislature aduga judiciary hejuda ngasi akoina nainare je institution ahum jideda amangi class amaga ngasi gida akoina legislature gi jini legislature da union level gi aduga state level gi ani max akoina nainare ko aduna legislature di ngasai gi law making ni law semadani legislation haibase ko legislation tawise maduni masaida parliament ki kai tonga provisions in parliamentary committee parliamentary privilege na executive ki power si ko yengsenba ko miyang samba aramba tawdana ba soiba tawdana sugumbai ko myam se laikre aduna masigi oina chi matang sleida class e da loiselasi ko